Probably shouldn't do this on camera because this will be my first attempt at throwing something for a very long time. I've had some issues to deal with, and I'm still dealing with some of them. But it's springtime, and that's when I put away the indoor things and the indoor creative activities, I might add, that I usually do, like make several quilts, and also work, work for in my quilting group. We make quilts for charity. I'm going to round off this edges so that I have kind of a curved shape so I don't trap any air bubbles in there. I need just a spot of water on there to make it slide. And if I sneeze, like I'm about to, it sounds, I know I sneeze loud and I'll try to stifle it, but I do sneeze. Sneezing feels good sometimes because it just exercises your lungs or something. So anyway, I might sneeze. So don't get excited. Don't call 911. It'll all be okay. Anyway, so I've been doing indoor things, and this was a rough winter. I have had a stalker. Yep, even old ladies get stalkers. And it's people who do wish them harm or wish them, trying to get them to do something that they don't want to do. And it's not always about sex or, some kind of wild ideas that the stalker has. A stalker can just be somebody who is watching every move you make and making your life miserable in the process, because they find out so much about you by watching you and recording you, which is what's been happening in my case, that you just get a little paranoid and you can't always carry on with your normal activities because you feel like you're being watched all the time. I'm going to need a Kleenex here. It's, like I said, it's springtime and every blooming thing is blooming. Here, I'll get this box over here close to me. So, anyway, it's blooming. Okay. Everything is blooming, and we just have to deal with it. That's the least of the problems at the moment. Okay, let me get in the right spot here. Okay, like I said, I haven't thrown anything in months and months. I've just been trying to work out a way of dealing with the issues, and unfortunately, since the main problem lives right next door to me, let's make one of those little candle holder things that I've been making forever. But I've been making little quilters pin cushions out of them. But anyway, see if I can keep my muscles, when you don't throw for a while, your muscles get, your throwing muscles forget what you're supposed to be doing. It's kind of like riding a bicycle, though. You can usually just sit down and start throwing, and all of a sudden you remember what you're supposed to be doing. You know, you remember how to do it. Those little candle holder pincushion thingies seem to be pretty popular. Anybody can make them, and you could, you know, basically could probably make it out of any kind of candle holder. Or any kind of anything, really. I've seen people do it, make little pin cushions out of teacups that they purchase in thrift stores and places like that. Well, that doesn't look too bad. Well, I shouldn't speak too soon, though, right? Because when you do that, you mess it up. So anyway, this has been an ongoing problem, and hopefully the person will get tired of bothering me, but it hasn't happened yet. And okay, when it starts wobbling like that, that's when you know you need to slow down and get some water in there. Also, when you're narrowing something down like this, the thinner you get the little stem part of it, the more likely it is to try to twist. And so, something to know if you're a beginner. You can't just throw a stemmed goblet, for example, and expect it to, you know, stand up straight, because it depends on how moist your clay is, you know, how strong that is. Okay, and all that. Lots of factors, a lot of factors. Come into play when you're doing something like this, and in life in general. So okay, so now let me see if I can dry out the inside of that thing. I don't have a little tiny piece of sponge, but I'm gonna roll that one up and see if I can I just don't want any water standing in the bottom of it. And I'll come back and flip the, you know, kind of turn the edge of that in a minute, but let's get this part done first. So if you've ever had a stalker, especially somebody who lived near you, and or a harassment type of a neighbor that harasses you or something like that, you know, I've heard of this kind of thing happening in apartments, but this, I'm not living in an apartment. This is a house in a nice neighborhood, and quiet, respectable people around here until he moved in, and he thinks it's okay to come home from wherever he goes at 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever, 10 in the morning and start playing electronic music using an amplifier and a subwoofer. And so that has been a lot of the problem, because that low frequency, even though he says he has his place soundproofed, he may have the walls soundproofed or the windows covered up or something, but he doesn't have the floor soundproofed, and low frequency travels through the ground, as you all probably know. Anybody who's had high school physics knows that. I may want to take the rim down just a little bit, because what the quilter ladies do with these, they put a little pin cushion here in the middle, but this needs to lay down more because they put those little clips in there. And so, I know this is going slow because I'm talking, but it's also going slow because it's the first thing I've thrown in ever months. And I probably got demonetized off of YouTube because I haven't published a video in a long time, but I've just had stuff to deal with, and like, you know, legal things, and that's good. And now the creme de la creme de la creme. I take my little piece of silicone that I cut off of this thing that you're supposed to put in the bottom of your oven to keep the oven clean. It really does work that way, because whatever I didn't use on this, I put in the oven. And it really does help keep the bottom of the oven clean. If I can, I'm going to compress that rim, because compressing the rim makes it smooth, but it also helps strengthen it and keeps it, it prevents, it makes it harder to chip the edges of pottery. Porcelain, whether it's porcelain or stoneware. This happens to be stoneware. Oops, I knocked something off there. Well, so, all right, I think I might be through with that. You know, you can work these things to death, but I think I won't do that. And this might get a handle on it. There's the profile again. You know, if I was making something else, I might be really concerned about the fact that it's a little high somewhere on it, but since I'm putting a handle on it, I'm not going to worry about it, because I can take the high side or the low side and put the handle right on that spot and kind of camouflage the fact that, but you know, it's only going to spin when you're making it. Your people that buy it, or whoever you give this to, or sell it to, they're not going to take it home and spin it to see if it's perfectly round. They're just going to love it and use it a lot. So, okay, I'm going to go get some more clay, so I'll be back in just a minute.